I'm Luana, and today Iván and I will be talking about cultural diversity in the classroom. But before we get into it, let's first take a look at this. All of these children come from different cultures. A Czech, for example, will not make direct eye contact when talking to the teacher. Would it be that he's not paying attention? What about Kosam? Kosam is smiling, and that must mean that she's understanding everything, right? Here's Jisoo, a Korean student who rarely ever smiles. An American teacher would make assumptions on these kids according to their own culture. But a Czech, a Native American, will not make direct eye contact with the teacher because doing so would show lack of respect in his culture. Kosam is always smiling, but that doesn't mean she doesn't have questions. In Thailand, which is often called the land of smiles, people often smile not only to indicate positive gestures, but also to indicate embarrassment, confusion, and even anger. Jisoo may seem like an unhappy kid, but the reason she doesn't smile in class is because in Korean culture, smiling signals shallowness and thoughtlessness. Just like that, cultures have different ways of communicating non-verbally, and it is crucial for teachers to be aware of these differences. With the growing diversity within today's classrooms, it's crucial that teachers educate themselves in the matter of cultural diversity.
That's correct, Luana. Culture is that which shapes us. It shapes our identity and influences our behavior. Culture is our way of being. More specifically, it refers to the shared language, norms, values, behaviors, and even material objects that are passed down from one generation to the next. But what does it mean to be culturally diverse? This term is often used with the concept of multiculturalism, and this is defined as a system of beliefs and behaviors that recognizes and respects the presence of all diverse groups in an organization or society. Simply put, it is saying that multiculturalism is first recognizing the presence of all those people that differ in culture from yours. It is about respecting the differences and celebrating rather than just tolerating the differences. This is necessary in order to bring unity through diversity. But Luana, can you tell us, why is cultural diversity important?
Of course, culture is the lens with which we evaluate everything around us. We evaluate what is proper or improper, normal or abnormal through our culture. And that's why if we are immersed in a culture that is unlike our own, we may experience culture shock and become disoriented. People naturally use their own culture as a standard to judge other cultures. However, passing judgment could reach a level where people begin to discriminate against others whose way of being are different than their own. And that's because we tend to fear things that we don't understand.
Absolutely. There are numerous ways in which teachers can support cultural diversity in the classroom, but there are several points that stand out. The first one, increase your level of understanding about other cultures by interacting with people outside your own culture. Recognize and understand that concepts within the helping profession, such as family, gender roles, spirituality, and emotional well being, differ significantly among cultures and influence behavior. Avoid imposing values on children that may conflict or be inconsistent with that of their own culture. When interacting with students who may not be proficient in the local language, recognize that their limitations in language proficiency in no way reflects their level of intellectual functioning. Advocate for the use of materials that are representative of the various cultures within the local community and the society in general. Intervene in an appropriate manner when you observe others engaging in behaviors that show cultural insensibility, bias, or prejudice. For more tips on how to introduce cultural diversity in the classroom, visit brookspublishing.com, and you can also watch the TED Talk We're All Different and That's Awesome by Cole Blakeway so that you get informed and inspired at the same time.
Perfect. Now, how can we introduce cultural diversity in the classroom curriculum? Well, teachers should consider their students' culture and language skills when developing learning objectives and instructional activities. Teachers can promote cultural awareness by including fables and stories from around the world into the classroom to help expose the students to new cultures. When teaching students, teachers should use multiracial examples when discussing inventors, scientists, politicians, and other leaders. This can help to teach ethnic and racial diversity to children by allowing them to be exposed to more than just the traditional figures of their own culture.
That's great. And it's also crucial to make the student's environment more diverse. And teachers can do that by following these steps. Use a calendar of multicultural holidays that can be used as a conversation starter among children. Label common items in the classroom with names in different languages so students are exposed to common words in multiple languages. This can make ESL students feel more included and welcome in the classroom.
Another fun activity you can do is holding an international festival. In Canada, a lot of elementary school teachers do this each year, where they assign students a specific culture to research on, or they can even research the culture of their ancestors. And they present their research at the festival to celebrate the different cultures through authentic costumes, patriotic music, and international cuisine. It's a lot of fun.
As we learned today, cultural diversity holds an important place in today's classroom. We understand that not every school will have the funding and resources available to introduce cultural diversity into their curriculum. But remember the tips we gave you today. There are certainly many things teachers can do to support cultural diversity in the classroom, to educate our children so they can learn from their differences and become individuals that thrive in a diverse society. And now remember, the beauty of the world
Lies in the diversity of its people.